Mr. Chair, Pete Bear, Mesa County. It's just my great pleasure as the county administrator on behalf of all the county employees to wish Scott the best, thank him very much for, I believe over the weekend, one of our managers said, no nonsense wisdom, and that sums up Scott tremendously. Also, I can tell you this, when it was actually Scott that kind of pushed me towards, hey Pete, you do great there, you do great, I'm there for you, and he was. But I tell you what, I saw some of the stuff he did and I shook my head and went, are you kidding me? That's not gonna work, and every one of them worked out. So the wisdom you've imparted, Scott, the foundation you've built here, and a hearty thank you from all employees as a wrap up of some of those employees is what is well deserved and well beyond. So thank you very much for everything you've brought to this organization.
To the very people that I've worked for, and thank you for the privilege. And it's been terrific, Lori. Come up here, Lori. Come here. Big part of that. You know, Lori's been with us a long time in politics. Her dad was a county commissioner. Of course, we have many years with Matt Smith. I think Matt's up at the ranch this morning. But anyway, this is a big part of it. And I look at every one of you and Justin, where'd John go? There. Oh, there we are. Yeah, you guys. There's the walking encyclopedia. You knew every ditch, every road. I even knew every cow in this county. And serving with John, of course, and Rose. There we are. Serving with John and Rose was fantastic. It was great. And Carrie, she's one sworn me in. She runs the town at the back. They got treated very well, I'm telling you that right now. And then Kathy, I mean, I could just go on, Buddy, and Buddy's known my family for generations back in southern Colorado. And what's that? Oh yeah, she wanted to make sure because that's where we get our water. Keith and Julie, our neighbors up there. They do that. And Charles, the Sentinel, Jay, yourself. We go way back, and Gary, and it's been fantastic. And thank you for being fair in the reporting. I didn't always experience fair reporting nationwide, but I certainly did with the Sentinel and with you. And it's been good. So I just wanted to give all of you, Brenda, I look at the whole team over here. We've got such a great team. And I hope you noticed that I'm kind of like the quarterback, maybe. I got some credit, or all the credit when we scored a touchdown. But in the background, it was Matt, Lewis, or Dan, or the civilian side fans. I mean, Brenda, I don't know how many times you saved our bacon. We just got a fantastic team. And finally, I want to thank having the privilege to work with these two. And you may have noticed up there on the House floor, you have the right to yield to some other speaker. And early on, I interrupted Commissioner Rowland, and I think she essentially said, I'm not yielding to you. Shush up. She didn't say it quite that way. And anyway, and Janet, of course, is, both of these colleagues, they're kind of like, same with you, John, but to have the privilege to work with both of you and Janet with the experience you've got. And take a look, when we talked about those community halls, Todd, thank you for all the work you've done on this stuff, and Pete has been fantastic. Those community halls, you're going to be able to deliver them to completion. And Janet, you took that little community hall and turned it into a campus that for generations will be the shining light in the town of Clifton. And then Cody, I got to tell you, Cody is where I was a long time ago. He's got a tremendous future ahead of him. He's got a mind like a sponge, bright, but we know who the boss is. I've always said, the seats are replaced, you're supposed to be up there. Anyway, I just wanted to come down here and thank each and every one of you. And it's where people get very confused. And I'm always baffled by it as people come up and thank me for the service. I said, it was my privilege. I loved every day I went to work, and I couldn't have done it if you didn't give me your confidence and your trust to deliver for you. So thank you, and have a happy new year.
I do have a few comments. And first, I do want to mention Lori. I know that I couldn't do the job I do without a supportive spouse, and it's certainly even more so with Scott, considering he went to the state and Congress. And so thank you for, this is as much for you as it is for him. My favorite part of that video, which was excellent, was all your debates in Congress. And you got it. My favorite line was, "I will not yield to the gentlewoman." Fortunately, you never used that on me. It really has been an honor to serve with you. Some had me convinced that it would be really difficult 2 years working with you, and that has not been true. I know some had you convinced it'd be difficult to work with me, and as Cody can attest, that part's actually true. But it's still been good. You've brought balance and thoughtful ideas and discussion, and that's really appreciated. And in the future, if we ever have documents we're reviewing at a staff meeting that don't have pages, I will think of you. You started back in 1983, and so I wanted to follow in your tradition and share a little bit about what life was like in 1983. The first ever version of Microsoft was released. That's how far back it goes. I actually lived in the Seattle area at the time and had a friend who worked there and toured it and saw these pallets of stacks of software. I had no clue what it was or what it would do. The TV series MASH ended after 11 years. Food trends included frozen yogurt and Jell-O pudding pops. The most popular TV show was Dallas. Now, the cost of a new home was $89,000, which sounds good, but also the median income, a household income, was $20,000. First class stamp was 20 cents. And remember, gas was really bad back then, but a gallon of gas was $1.24. I wouldn't mind going back to 1983 for the gas prices. Cost of a dozen eggs was 86 cents, if you can imagine that. Now it's almost $9. And finally, Commissioner Davis doesn't remember any of this because he had not yet been born in 1983. We won't hold that against him.
Well, thank you very much. And important point is, I was fortunate during all the years of service, 30 years of service, I only served the minority 2 years. And but when the two new commissioners came in, who were all sitting Republicans, I knew what a 2-to-1 ratio meant. And I figured I might be in for a rough ride, but wow, there's nobody more surprised than myself. I really mean it. The improvements and so on, I won't keep going on, but it's just been a real privilege. And for Bobby, I want everybody out here to know my replacement, Bobby Daniels. She's going to live up to your standards. She's fantastic. You've got 6 more years and 2 of the finest commissioners in the state of Colorado. And as Commissioner Justman said, the time goes quick, but the privilege has been all of ours. So thank you, Janet.
Well, I guess great minds think alike, because I went back to 1953.
Oh, okay, well, that's even better.
You remember 1953?
Yeah, actually, I have a very good memory, Cody.
You really?
Yeah.
Well,
Joke for that if you want to joke.
you're probably going to one-up my joke, but
No.
anyways. 1953, the USSR developed their H-bomb, which, to your chagrin, is an acronym for the hydrogen bomb. The cost of living back then was, yearly inflation was 0.82%, house was $9,500, wages was $4,000 a year. The cost of gas was 20 cents, and eggs per dozen was 27 cents. Believe it or not, Queen Elizabeth officially took her place as the Queen of England in 1953, which is ironic, given that you began life in 1953, and she began her service in 1953. She ended life in 2022, and you finished your service in 2022. So an interesting tie there for you. But finally, in 1953, a trailblazer was born. Much to the surprise of Commissioner McInnis, this trailblazer didn't die young. In fact, he's still kicking. A career yet finished and an end yet defined, but successful in business ventures, loved and adored by his family and friends, and known for his dutiful public service, quick wit, unwavering principles to limited governments, and a judicious thought process. And who could forget his relentless pursuit of page numbers on every document, and his utter disdain for acronyms, and to finish, his fascination with red-eared slider turtles. Scott, you've decried partnerships as the quickest way to the short end of the stick. And you may be right, but I consider our partnership as an investment in Mesa County, as a lucrative one in Mesa County, and a true friendship. So thank you. I consider you a mentor. I appreciate all the wisdom you've brought to this. I've learned a lot, and you've been a joy to work with. So